the cloud. Okay, so welcome everyone to another installment of Practical Sigilization. That's for the sake of the recording. Awesome. Would you please verify that you can see my screen? Awesome. Ordinarily, I solicit a password from you guys. There's no password for this class. We are not invading any of the astral realms, but we are talking about some of the connections from the physical to the astral tonight. And the pre-work that we're going to do really is sort of an extension of some of the work that we did last time. So last time when we got to Yesod, or the abyss between Yesod and us, we did some work. I think I mentioned before that it's related to what's called polarity therapy, which is a methodology of wellness that promotes wellness, and I think it's used in Tai Chi and has been adapted to Western healing modalities and spiritual use. And that's you frame your consciousness inside and outside. Then you do it bilaterally. So you unify your consciousness of left with right. You unify your consciousness with back and forth, with before you and with above you and below you. So your sense of gravity, your sense of expansion, your kinesthetic sense, in fact, you get it entirely online, which is it's called proprioception or kinesthesia. And that is your native ability to understand where your body is in space and time, and to become aware of many of the different subsystems of the body as they operate at the same time. So becoming aware of your heartbeat, your respiration, your circulation, your frame as it sits or stands or moves in the world. All of these things, and bringing these awarenesses online as a holistic, like really all it is like all of these are a part of self, capital S, self. And I don't mean self in the sense of the ego construct that we wrap around the phenomenon that we are, right? Which is really just a limiting factor to try and navigate the chaos of our sensory input and life and choice making and goal achieving and productive labor and all that. Capital S self is, I always describe it to my students as the container for your experience and for an experience of the divine. Now, by divine, of course, I mean the more than manifest. So not just what is manifest in the physical universe that you can see, smell, taste, touch, hear, which really is the tiniest of fraction of reality going on. Thank you, contemporary science, for teaching us that there's something beyond the five human senses. But also all the way from the macroest of macro, all universes, to the most micro of micro, quantum mechanics, and everything in between, which really, we are these bioelectrical machines with holographic memory processing and bio storage. Bio-virtual storage for some of these experiences, which is really interesting. What is called in anthropology soft wiring and hard wiring, that we in fact are both hardwired and soft wired, that we can, we not only are born with a certain set of preset skills at the factory, but we also are granted enough through socialization, through enculturation, and through personal experience, we were able to soft wire ourselves. In other words, tell ourselves stories which limit our behavior and which create anticipation, which is participation in whatever. So, and what do I mean by that? That's a whole lot, and it probably went, I did a over the head number there. So let's bring that down. I see you have a question. Just 1 second. And that is, if we anticipate love, we will participate in love. If we anticipate violence, we will participate in violence. That many of the things that we project outward into this experience wind up returning to us in kind. What's your question, Jordy?
I was just going to say, since it's you and I and just a few of us, are you okay with me turning on my video so you don't
Oh my
feel like
God,
you're
yeah,
talking
please.
into oblivion?
Please,
Okay.
please.
Okay, I
Yeah,
will.
anyone could turn on their video at any time. And I appreciate it, because then, then I'm not just talking to blank screens. And for me, I personally find it, I was the first one at work post-COVID to turn my camera on in all meetings, because I'm
Same.
like, that's my team. And
Right. And I didn't
love
want
my
you
team.
to, I can only imagine, talking to a screen with no one to look at or talk to. So
Oh,
yeah,
no, the other side.
I'm
That's right.
here.
Yeah. Yay! Woo! Awesome. So capital S self, right, is not only our own experience, so our hardwired experience, our softwired experience, and an experience of something extra, right? So extra experiential. Now, I call it the divine. And that's fine. Really, it's all different words to get to the same place. Spirit is spirit. And the disembodied forces, which are active agents in this plane, what have been called archons, they've been called bodhisattvas, they've been called devas, devidasis, unahipna, what are they called? The akuakini. Every culture has their own word for these critters that run around and influence human life and destiny, though they possess no physical form. All of us, every culture has its own word for that. And we ourselves are a vessel for an experience of that. Whether we recognize or try and categorize or put a story around that experience or not, really is up to the practitioner and how on it you are spiritually, right? Most people never will. Most people are an iceberg, even to themselves, where the amount of themselves that they know is that much, and this much resides under the surface of the pre-conscious mind, where they have never audited their own ideas, thoughts, preconceptions, notions, learning, experience, any of it, right? They learn behaviors as they are taught, they practice them as they are expected, and they get results as they want them, or as other people provide them, or as the circumstance allows them. Yes, that's most people. And occasionally they bump into the hard moment of wow, I'm the common denominator in my own problems, and perhaps I should self-examine to shift my behavior to get something different from the universe, instead of anticipating and participating in the same neurotic behaviors over and over and over again, right? Hopefully we wake up to that moment. When we do, the world cracks open to some of this stuff. So the Your hair is a mess and in limbo. Girl, you don't worry. You're fine. You are all fine how you are. You don't need to come on camera, or you can. I am not going to judge your hair because none. She have them flying all over the screen. That's awesome. Okay, so I wanted to give a plug before we get too far for two books, and I think I've already given a plug for this book, right? And that is The Black Mass by Thomas Carlson. This came out just 2 years ago, and I will put the name in the chat as well. Carlson spells his name a little unusual, right? With Thomas, German spelling, Karlsson, Black Mass. And there is a subtitle. The subtitle reads, The Sabbatic Tradition of Shaitan and the Sexual Sorcery of the Qliphothic Dark Paths. Ooh, spooky. It is kind of spooky. And what's nice is he covers each of the nodes and trees that we actually are going to be traveling in the second half of this series, and gives his own idea of a diagram of the Qliphothic tunnels and the paths as they exist in his experience, right? Every witch or wizard or person who kind of begins traveling this path eventually winds up doing this, and that is creating a sigil of their own that really is not only a mnemonic device, but also something that helps you remember, but also kind of a road map for the subdivisions in the worlds of the astral, right? And how to get from there to there, or there to there, or there to there. Okay. The other one, so let me put it in. So in the chat, so you gals have it. And that's Thomas Carlson. Oops. Black Mass is the book. The second book, this is a classic of witchcraft, Hecate's Fountain by Kenneth Grant. Now, I am going to let you know, and in both of these books are amazing illustrations like the one I'm going to show you right now. Does this look familiar? Sure does. Yep. So this is Kenneth Grant, a hard line Ordo Templi Orientis guy. He's one of Aleister Crowley's, like, I don't know, once removed students, and became the kind of the Grand Master of the OTO for a while before he wound up, and here's his personal sigil. So that's his sigil for himself, right, on the back of the book. And before he became embroiled in sexual scandal. Shocker. Shocker. They all do at some point, by the way. And Mr. Carlson, who is contemporary, still alive and still running a coven. Matter of fact, you can write him, you can email him, you can whatever. He's on any number of social platforms. This is his second published book. His first published book was published about, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. And this is the summation of his practice since his first book. And he also is affiliated with OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis, the sacred magical order that lies underneath the Gnostic Christian practice as revamped by Aleister Crowley. So he was the head of it. He is the head of one of the orders So he's the head of the Draconian Order of the OTO. And his chapter is still active. He still has students. He still has people learning under him, and they're exploring their own practice as well as their own astrally carved out space. Oh, what does that mean, Shen Tat? What? 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 Yes, absolutely. All practitioners at some point or another either have the option or can do both to carve out your own astral space and temple, or participate in an astral temple that has already been built by others. So both of them have established astral spaces that you know, once you even know the sort of the basics of navigating, you can navigate, go, participate, audit. If they spot you, good luck to you. Double cross and black mass. Yeah, the other one, Hecate's Fountain. By Kenneth Grant. Grant is no longer alive. The nice part about Kenneth Grant's work is, and it's solid witchcraft. I mentioned before Fiorino's work, and of course he references Fiorino in the Dark Side Tarot. He actually references her work, as well as the work of Austin Spare, whom I've mentioned in many classes as being a magical practitioner. Here's one of Austin Spare's beautiful pieces of automatic art. So automatic art, automatic writing, sigilization were all a part of Austin Spare's practice. He was one of the genius practitioners of last century. And so 1900s. And left behind a bunch of incredible students and a whole body of work that later became a school of witchcraft called Chaos Magicians. So chaos magic, spelled with a K, K-A-O-S. And these, they call themselves chaoticians. And they are computer geeky beyond, right? So computer geeky, uber fucking brainiac beyond, and magicians. Just bend over, right? Fuck me, because these kiddos study every world methodology of anything occult or mystical and wrap elements into their work. And there's an incredible book called I'm gonna Google it right now. I have a copy in the other room, but I don't want to leave to get it. Called the something cookbook. Chaos Magic. And come on, come on, come on. There you go. The up Ritual Chaos Workbook, a complete. See, I don't think that there's a later edition. Called the something cookbook. Liber Psychonaut, so Psychonaut, Liber Chaos, these are all these guys. And but these are more contemporary. The Gnostic Cookbook, the uh, 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 I may have to go get it. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. Let me grab the book. There we go. Got it. Okay. All right.
So
Okay, gals.
I wanted to
Here
show
we go.
you real. Can you hear me?
I can. I can.
So I just saw this one.
No, that's
Top of
fantastic.
the
No,
list.
that's great that it's already in your library. Yeah. I did want to kind of give you a little context of right. Yes. So the Voodoo Gnostic workbook, this is like the Summa Mathematica. It's like the chaos magician's complete guide to fucking everything, right? So I'll also put that in the, you already have one, so you're getting an introduction to chaos magic. That's great. And it helps for this kind of work because what we were doing actually was pioneered by not just Crowley, but really deeply explored by the chaos magicians. And a lot of the practice that I kind of teach in sigilization classes is really just chaos magic let loose. And I happen to stick it in the context of path working, another known magical technology, but for very different reasons. So the Voodoo Gnostic Workbook, expanded edition, this is everything you ever want chaos magic. And I will go ahead and put the author's name as well as the book title, the and if chaos magic speaks to you, there are a couple of other books you should be aware of. Liber Not, and I think it's just called Chaos. Um, oh, it's Liber Chaos. So it's Liber Not. Yep. Yes. And it is with a K. That is correct. Chaos Magic. Yeah. And the methodology of chaos magic is really much more intuitive. It's much more it relies on the practitioner's sort of emotional states and pegging emotional states to the magical working. The higher the emotional state, the more charged the working can be, and the faster the triggered response or manifestation. Awesome. So I gave my plugs for my books. Just so you know, I have my own diagram of the Cliffotic tunnels. The diagram is available for you in the materials. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and show you. When you look at all materials, there is a Tree of Death diagram. Please feel free to take a look at it yourself. We are going to be teasing apart and exploring each of these nodes, just like we've been exploring the nodes of the Tree of Life. And so we're gonna Anyways, look at the outline. You'll see, take a look at the diagram. It's in all materials for you. Feel free to download it. If you do share it, provenance. Tell folks where you got it. This is my work here. Not any other magicians, witches, or any. This is mine. And all of everything that's put together here is from my own personal magical research and exploration. Awesome. That said, tonight's deal, we are going to be residing in the contiguous space, contiguous meaning occupying the same space, of the astral with our own physical selves. The easiest way for me to do this is to invite you to the idea of the possibility that the divine and you are not separate. Okay. And that means, by extension, all of this is a part of her, H-I-R, all things seen and unseen, the goddess herself, working herself out, right? The easiest way to understand this is to relax in your seat. Yep, it's time for that, Jody. Find a comfortable place. There you go. And instead of closing your eyes, keep them open and relaxed. You can look around. In fact, do. But breathe deep and out. And as you exhale, vibrate your chest with an ah. Again. Ah. Two more times. Again. This time, sip in some more air. And some more. And sip again. And hold it. And try to come to the realization that the human being belongs with the rest of the universe. I'm going to say it again. Try and realize. I think we lost one. I think we lost Jordan. I think your phone fell over and stopped connecting. We'll see in a moment if she pops back in. So, honey, try and imagine and try and realize that the human being, which is you, belongs with the rest of the universe. As a great poet, Khalil Gibran, once wrote, you are a child of the universe. You have a right to be here. In fact, more than a right to be here, you have a responsibility to be here. Even if you can't believe that it is true about you, imagine the possibility that if it were true about you, you have an indwelling spirit. For the Greeks, it's pneuma. For the Christians, it's the Holy Spirit. For the witch, it's the indwelling anima. Every culture calls it something different. For the ancient Egyptian, it was Am. Breathe deep. Jordy's phone fell over. I know what happened. When you're
My
ready again. Yeah, when you're ready again, Jordy.
my phone died, and when we started it was 100% battery, so I think that breathing technique really did it for me.
Zapped your phone.
Good Lord. I'm on
Okay.
my laptop now, so I'm going to mute myself and we can keep going. I
You
apologize.
don't need to mute yourself, but that's very kind. So awesome. Yes, let's continue. And where you left off, I will pick up. I've been telling Honey Sones, this is really the work of Malkuth, untelling the story that the divine exists out there. Dismantle that tale. Breathe deep, connect with yourself, and with eyes open, connect with the world around you. Part of what you must realize is true right now to do this work is that the human being belongs with the rest of the universe. That you are a child of the universe, that you have a right and responsibility to be here. The way one of my other fairy brothers puts it, named Storm Fairy Wolf, we are all, each and every witch, brothers and sisters, in that we are priests and priestesses. And the priesthood has one job, and that's it. And that is to be the open channel for the divine to manifest on this plane. Imagine it would be possible for you to be that channel. What would the world be like if you were the conduit of the divine? Not an instrument, a priest, a priestess, a conscious being through whom the divine flows into the manifest. The human being belongs with the rest of the universe. And this is now. As you breathe in the universe. As you breathe out, you share yourself with the universe. The electrical currents generated not only by the timing belt in your brain, but also by the actions of your heart and the central nervous system, right now are engaged with communicating with all of the other bioelectric and electric signatures and currents you are surrounded by. It's easy for us to imagine that our magnetism and electric biosignatures can be communicating in a non-verbal, pre-verbal way with the computer screen and the CPU and the light over here and the electricity wires flowing through the house and all the appliances plugged in and our phone, which is really transmitter, transceiver, transmitter, receiver, right? We are transmitter receivers. That's easy for us to comprehend. Now add another layer to that, the layer of the divine. One of my greatest teachers said that there is something the only each individual, you, can uniquely bring to bear in this world, whether you know it or whether you don't. Most of us don't know what that is. Imagine the possibility that you have knowledge and conversation with your own most highest part of self. And that when you do, when your eyes open, you see the luminosity that is the manifest universe and yourself. You are a child of the universe. You have a right to be here. The human being belongs with the rest of the universe. For our sake. All of what we see and hear and smell and taste is God herself thinking through her thoughts, which are physical, electrical, biological, geological, quantum, and meta. Breathe that in. Keep your eyes open. The realm that we're moving in right now is where the wheels hit the pavement. Malkuth is here now. One of the most important active spells in the casting of the sacred circle of a witch is the command to self, capital S self. Be here now. It makes the demand to self that all parts of self return to self, to remember, bring my members back and assemble them, to remember self, capital S. Breathe in, and as you do, call back your sex. all that you have ever compromised of your sex, all that you ever given away of your sex, all that you have ever confined, distorted, used it as a weapon, or had it used against you. Call it back on every inhale. And exhale gratitude and love. Inhale pride. And all of the ways that pride has been used against you and twisted and distorted into semblance and shame, call it that. And let it remember with self. And exhale gratitude. And exhale law, the right proportion. Knowing how you fit in with other people, knowing how you fit in economically, knowing how you fit in and what your power is, and breathe back in your power. And exhale power. Eyes open, see the world you're in. You're calling back your power, your pride, your sex. Exhaling our shared, our love, our law, our as a tribe, a race, a species. Breathe in self. All the ways that someone has told you who you are, all the ways that someone has denied what you know you are, all those birthrights of self that have been denied you, breathe them back in and remember them. And breathe out knowledge. Breathe in self. Breathe out knowledge. Breathe in worship. All the things you have ever passionately pursued, all the passions you have ever had. Remember yourself. Remember your passion. Bring your passion to yourself, to your sex, to your pride. And remember. And breathe out wisdom. Just as all things that we pursue with passion, we become wise at. Bring back your passion and share your wisdom with the universe. Sex. Be here now. First, it must be assumed that the human being goes with the rest of the universe. The divine is not put there. The divine is different. An old friend of yours named breath. Yeah. Beautiful. Quicksilver, being of accelerated cognition, thought, recognition, read state, knowing, gnosis, all is right now with you in every single inhale. If you can perceive on your inhale that there is a so hot, whole layer, that's the power. That's the kepher, that's the mana, that's the prana, that's the ankh, that's the energy. Bring it in, separate it off. Exhale the body heat. Bring it in, separate it, exhale the body heat. Call back sex, pride, self, power, passion. Remember self. Exhale limitations, stories, lies. Exhale seeming, control, manipulation. And when you are fully in your body, when you are being here now, say the word yes. Yes. We have 10 lines to put on the page. Wow. If you start, by the way, if you start getting thrills and chills, uh, if you start getting like extra energy moving around you, exhale it onto the tip of your pencil, bring it to the page. Don't let it reside on or stay in your body. Divine light is toxic to the human body. It triggers evolution on a cellular and DNA level. It can create disconnection and madness with long-term exposure. It also is the divine light and force that we use in immediate manifestation. Let it bring a fire to the tip of your pencil. Yes, we are truly one. That's right. We are a networked computer. I've said this before. Thinking the thoughts of God herself through this frame. 10 lines. Wow. I haven't even looked. All right, let me see. I thought my camera was on a long time ago. Right? Truly one. Whoa, I have no idea about drew a dog in my sigil, and when I looked up, I saw a dog. I imagine. Wow. All three of my dogs have been harassing me out of nowhere. No, yeah, critters are thermometers for extra events, and they do, and they make themselves present or they make themselves known. It's going to turn my mic on, but it's going to saw was making horrifying noises. Oh, puppy boat wants mom's attention. Mom, attentions. All right. This one was by and far, I think, the most intense sigil for me of the entire series. You too. Yeah. Yep. And I am absolutely madly in love with what I'm seeing, and it doesn't even fit on my page. So I'm going to have to take what I've got, and now that I know what the sigil needs to look like, I need to actually draw it smaller scale. Oh, is it a baby? Oh, baby. Oh, give your smooches. So cute. What is this awesome critter's name? What's your baby's name? Just all right. Where did it pop up? Popped up on the back somewhere. Yep. All right, there it is, and I should be able to bring it. Got so many windows that don't collapse. It's really unfortunate. All right, there. Here we go. Oh, that's what you were seeing for real?
In my defense with the dog, I was picturing something very brown and fluffy and cute. Pretty well exactly like your dog you just showed, Jordy, but I
Drawing
knew it only
skills.
had so many lines, so I went with a dog emoji.
Fantastic. That is dynamite and great. Awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and
So just real quick, I apologize. It booted me out, but I could see everything, but I had to like re-log in. It was weird. But her name is Lulabelle, and I'm not joking.
Lulabelle.
She looks exactly like your picture. What?
Oh, look at a baby. I love those ears. I just want to smooch her.
So cute.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yes, ridiculously cute. That is absolutely correct. Okay.
So Shen, I had a question.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and get this to come
Mine
up
came
well.
through, but I'm just gonna
Yeah,
show you. There's this humanoid that's, I don't know, can you see it?
yeah, I
So this
can
humanoid,
figure
I felt like it's not to be considered the
as
line,
part of the
like
sigil.
the lines, and then this being basically connecting it all.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Well, here's how I kind of feel about it. It's you were following your inspiration with creating the sigil, and stuff came through that you didn't anticipate, correct? Do I
Right,
understand that right? All
right.
right. Oh, good. Now listen to your own how do I want to put it? Listen, your own intuition. What does it say about the additional material that wound up in your image? And I see part of what you're talking about.
It it felt right. It just
It felt okay.
yeah, it was
Leave
one
it
of those
in.
things that I didn't really expect until
No,
after it
yeah,
was
that's
all done.
done, and then it revealed itself to you.
Right,
No,
right.
I would say this is a part of flow. So this is a part of your flow state, right? Leave it in and
Okay.
cast with it. Now, I've mentioned this before in classes that there are times where, and like there are elements of this I don't even understand. I don't get it. I have no clue. And I know that there are some organic things. I know that there are vectors, and the vectors are like trying to participate with each other. And then there's this huge set head in the middle of it that I didn't count on
That is
drawing at all.
beautiful. I mean,
Thank you.
literally beautiful.
Thank you. And
I am blown away.
I'm
Wow.
so glad. Now, in the casting and in the like when you draw it in or when you Photoshop it or when you do all of the rest of this, allow yourself to continue with your flow state with it. And chances are elements of that sigil will become will reveal their own story as far as your intent for this for the casting with time. So allow that to happen in your journal and your journal entries, and look for things that kind of tip you off, right? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. And there was that person I met on Tuesday, and then the person again that I met on Thursday. And then I cast this, and then so and so showed up, right? So watch for those synchronicities in how the casting plays out. I'll let you know. There are sigils that I still cast today that I drew 20 years ago that have yet to reveal all of their meaning to me. So some of these may wind up being like much longer term projects than just a week of casting. Whether this is one of them, I'm not going to hazard a guess, but I am going to say if it felt natural to you and right during the flow state, stick with it. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I can always tell, and this is one of the things that I wanted to mention in a class before, and I don't think I did, and that is during every casting, I try and keep several internal states online at the same time. I try and keep like sort of a meta eye that just like looks down on the whole process inside and out, right? And monitors for intrusions or influences and buffs them, dispels them, gets them out, right? Because this is my magic, not any other discorporeal entity's magic. Mine. the first thing Christ taught all of his disciples is how to banish spirits. The first thing a witch learns is how to banish spirits. Banish them. It is your magic, no one else's, which is why I understand your concern. And if it was natural during the flow state, we already had a guide. Raphael was already present and helping us. I don't know if this is another expression of Raphael. It may have been. You have a question?
Yeah. Yes to all of that.
You guessed all of that.
God. So I wanted to tell you, I mean, so many moments in that meditative state, I kept having these moments of the things you were saying, like how you kept saying, like, you need to be here right now, all of you here right now. Literally, I shit you not, today I got out of my car. I own a dog walking company, and I got out of my car to get a dog, and I left the keys in my car, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I swear I just got, and so I went to go walk back, and I grabbed the wrong keys. I walked, and I literally just stood in the middle of my client's yard. And I'm not joking when I say I used those exact words that you kept reiterating. And I'm just like, I looked at you for a second because I was like, get out of my head. Like, what in the hell? It kind of blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Good. Here's an awesome trick about magic. Magic is like, hey, God, Mama, I want you to tell me something. I want you to tell me that you exist. But I want you to tell me in a way that I can't deny that that was you talking to me. Magic works that way. And these like compound, because they compound, right? They snowball, they grow. We can't create coincidence, but we can put ourselves in an opportunistic state for coincidence to occur. And when we do, weird shit happens. And that's what I have called always wild magic. And wild magic is very hard to control. It's better actually to have a solid container to flow your magic through. But when wild magic happens, listen, mama, just listen. Because some of your best guides, friends, some of the important key aspects of your sense of personal power. So things that wind up in what which is called a book of mirrors, right? Eventually a book of shadows. These power situations, power animals, a particular tree that is an ally, or a stone that's an ally, or a situation that you can trip off and create, like, you can stir the pot, make the universe bend. Yeah. Super exciting. Awesome. Okay. So for the sake of the recording, we all know what we're doing next. We're gonna, since we drew it today, we're gonna cast it tomorrow, and then the next day we're gonna journal, and then we're gonna cast it the next day and journal the next day and cast the next day and journal the next day. 3 castings this week. That way you have 3 journal entries for you to begin processing and to trigger the knee-jerk response to the universe, right? When you cast it, what are you doing? You're handing your prayer to God and saying 1,000 copies, please. And God herself, of course, has no choice but to say, you got it, chick, 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 and throw me the money, show me the money. That's right. The universe does what it does. It manifests. So that said, do we have, of course, I do want to point to the material. knowing that this particular state, right, which is described by mystics as being solidly in Malkuth, right, which is the manifest universe. The only physicality that we have access to, right, connects to the imaginary world, Yesod, it connects to the emotional world of Netzach, it connects to the intellectual world of Hod. And each of those roads themselves has a tarot correspondence, a particular road, which simply means life way, right? There are some people who are teachers, some people who are learners, some people who are surfers. Awesome. Each one of those is a road, right? The three roads that lead off of this are the road of imagination, the road of disaster. Now, what do I mean by disaster? I mean disaster in the sake of the tarot card, the Blasted Tower, the deconstruction. Bingo. Right. And the road of fear, dread, and awe. What do we mean by that? Awe actually means a sense that is both you are mesmerized by the thing you are observing, and you can't comprehend the thing you're observing, and it itself can alter you just by observing it. This is the true meaning of, in a religious sense, when a religious person talks about fear of the divine. It actually means in a state of suspended thought of awe. Awesome. When we see awe-inspiring things, that's what we're talking about. Okay. There are meditations. Please feel free to avail yourselves of them. There are also, of course, on the diagram, we were on the bottom node of the Tree of Life. The sigil itself is available for you in the additional materials. You can use that in future, as well as this meditation from the recording, to continue your work with your casting, though it is not required. Any other questions? All right. Today's password is Raphael. Raphael was our guide today. I know. Oh, awesome. And so please make note of that for next week. Now, next week we are going to revisit the Black Tower. We are going to take a trip with Corazon. We are going to wind up here in the entry, or the seventh palace of the Tree of Death. And we recall from previous classes that and we're going to get to the Black Tower in a different methodology this time. We're not going to drop from above. We're actually going to go through the Luna Bar, and our guide will be Lilith. I know, isn't that awesome? So Corazon will deliver us to Lilith, and she and I and you and her will all be in your cab, whatever your cab is that Corazon built for you, whatever your ship is, right? And will take us to the seventh palace, and we're going to have our amulet online. So don't forget the amulet that you created in the Dark Tower. We need it, and we're going to reclaim it. We're going to go down to the bar. We're going to meet Lilith in the bar. She's going to take us out. Corazon's going to take us across the abyss, and we're going to wind up in the seventh palace. It's not going to be pretty. So be prepared for some, if in the higher realms, we really faced off with some of the best parts of ourselves, the second half is going to be facing off with the darker aspects of ourselves. So just know that. And this isn't meant as if, and anyone at any time can leave the series. If you don't want to do the Tree of Death, you don't need to. You can stay in the realms of light and explore there indefinitely, as many witches do. If you want to switch from the right hand to the left, then we'll be crossing that abyss, and we'll wind up in the seventh palace. And we'll have, there'll be more like content around that and where we're going. Afterwards, of course, there is the appeasing ritual you will need to do with your 9 stones. We do not want to piss off Corazon. Okay, all right, yeah. I see the affirmation of understanding on the other side. I'm glad. So that said, I say, let's go. What he so says, yeah, woo, awesome. So if that's said, then that's class tonight. Thank you so much.
Jen, thank you so much. That was beautiful. I appreciate you. No words. Again, I love you. I appreciate you.
Good. I'm glad. The feeling is mutual. And to answer your question, Honeystones, yes, we have to pay him after he gets us, after he does his work for us, and every time he does his work for us. So that is that, and he'll be our guide. Actually, he won't be our guide, but he will be our transportation to each of these palaces. So we won't be relying on the geniuses of the palace to do the work for us. Nope. We're going to ask Corazon to be our guide and our driver, our Uber, all the way up or all the way down, depending on your perspective. So awesome. He's the toll bridge. That's right. Awesome. That said, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. If I can find the little button. It's in the ... There we go.